All right. So if you're like, interested in crypto, but kind of feeling like you're drowning in information, we totally get it. It can be a lot to take in.
Yeah, it really can.
So that's why we decided to do this deep dive into an interview with Lark Davis,
right?
Who you might know as a crypto YouTuber.
Yeah, he's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He's got some strong opinions, some pretty wild stories.
Yeah.
And we're going to try to extract the most valuable insights.
Yeah. You know what I find really fascinating is that he doesn't shy away from the kind of less glamorous side of crypto.
Yeah.
He talks about the ups and downs, the risks.
The emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, the emotional roller coaster, even his own mistakes.
Right.
Like he even compares the crypto market to walking through a desert for years between these big booms.
It's such a good analogy.
Yeah.
Like it really paints the picture.
Absolutely.
And he's not afraid to call out like that sort of degenerate side of the culture, you know, the meme coins, the pump and dumps.
Oh,
all that like get rich quick frenzy.
Yeah, all that noise.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise to sift through.
Absolutely. So I think it's important to think about, knowing that it is this cyclical market.
Right.
How does that affect your approach?
Right. Are you in it for the long haul? Are you ready to like walk through that desert for a while?
Right, exactly.
Or are you going to panic? Sell the second things dip a little bit.
Yeah, are you going to get scared and run away?
Yeah.
When things get a little rough?
Exactly. It's a super important question to ask yourself.
It really is.
Because it's so easy to get caught up in the hype.
Oh, for sure.
But having a clear strategy from the start is so essential.
Totally.
And speaking of strategy, Lark's own story of how he got into crypto is actually really fascinating.
Oh, yeah?
Like he was teaching English online.
Wow.
And ended up becoming this crypto influencer.
That's crazy.
And it all started with his mom getting excited about Bitcoin.
Seriously?
Yeah, so it's like a reminder that you don't need to be like a tech genius or anything to find your place in the crypto world.
Exactly. You don't have to have a computer science degree.
Not at all.
To, make your way in this space.
Right, and his story really shows how like curiosity and just a willingness to learn can lead you down these really unexpected paths.
Totally.
He started creating content initially as a way to earn crypto on platforms like Steemit.
Oh, wow. So he was like really early on that.
Yeah, so Steemit was this like decentralized blogging and social media platform.
Interesting.
And that brings us to another big thing that he talks about social media. It's become such a double-edged sword for anyone in crypto.
Yeah, for sure.
Both Lark and the interviewer in this interview we watched, they share some cautionary tales about the challenges of relying on these platforms.
Yeah, algorithm changes can just totally tank your reach.
Yeah, shadow bans can happen without you even knowing.
Right, and you have no idea why your content's not getting seen.
And then there's the possibility of outright bans.
Yeah, that's always scary.
Which Lark actually experienced.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his Instagram got relocated to India and Iran.
What?
Which basically decimated his U.S. audience.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Yeah, so it's like if you're getting your crypto info from social media, you have to be so careful.
Yeah, you got to be really careful about what you're seeing and who you're trusting.
Totally. And thinking critically about, is this information I can verify? Is this coming from a reliable source?
Yeah, do your own research.
Yeah, diversify your sources.
Exactly.
And don't just fall for the hype.
For sure. And, that's something that Lark talks about directly.
Yeah.
He says that, the crypto content that gets the most views is often the most irresponsible.
Yeah.
All those, Bitcoin to $200,000 predictions and buy this coin now screams.
Yeah.
Those tend to go viral.
Oh, totally.
But they're not necessarily the best advice.
Right. And it's easy to fall into that trap, especially when you're new to the space.
For sure.
It's tempting to chase those quick gains, but it can be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's a risky game.
So Lark himself, he tries to focus on news analysis and helping people actually understand the market.
Right.
Rather than just pumping up the hype.
That's good.
Yeah, and he makes a really interesting point about hodling.
Oh, yeah, hodl.
Which is this idea of holding your crypto for the long term.
Right.
And he argues that most people aren't actually hodling out of true conviction.
Mm-hmm.
but because they bought at the top and now they're just stuck.
Oh, so they're just hoping it goes back up.
Yeah, exactly.
So they can break even.
And he believes that it's smarter to take profits strategically.
Okay.
Especially in such a volatile market.
So, like, don't be afraid to sell.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't be afraid to sell.
Interesting.
It's about being proactive and making informed decisions, not just blindly following the strategy.
Yeah.
That might not actually be working for you.
Totally. And this leads to a pretty intense part of the interview.
Yeah.
Where Lark gets really honest about his own experience with the Luna UST crash.
Right.
He lost a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
When it all imploded.
And the interviewer actually reveals that he lost even more.
Oh, wow.
A staggering $2 million.
What?
Due to his faith in the Anchor protocol.
Oof, that's rough.
So before we go any further, I think it's important to break down what happened.
Okay, yeah.
For those who might not be familiar with this whole saga.
Yeah, a lot of people might not know about this.
Right, we've mentioned stablecoins a couple of times.
Right.
But it's important to understand what they are and why this particular crash was so significant.
Yeah, because it sent shockwaves through the whole crypto world.
Totally. So, do you want to explain like what a stablecoin is?
Yeah, so a stablecoin is basically a type of cryptocurrency that's designed to maintain a stable value.
Okay.
Usually it's pegged to a fiat currency like the US dollar. So the idea is to offer a safe haven within the crypto market, a way to park your funds without worrying about those price swings.
Yeah. So like in theory, stablecoins should be stable.
Right. Exactly.
But as this story shows, there are risks involved.
Yeah.
Especially with these algorithmic stablecoins like UST.
Right. An Anchor protocol.
Yeah.
Was this DeFi platform?
Which stands for decentralized finance.
Yeah. Yes.
Built on the Terra blockchain.
Right. So DeFi platforms aim to kind of recreate traditional financial services.
Right.
Like lending and borrowing, but in a decentralized way.
Okay.
Using blockchain technology.
Got it.
And Anchor was offering these incredibly high returns on UST deposits.
Right.
Which attracted a lot of investors.
Including the interviewer.
Yeah, he saw it as a legitimate opportunity.
Right.
With billions of dollars staked on the platform.
Yeah, and it seemed like a lot of smart people were involved.
Yeah, so he started small.
Yeah.
But eventually he had almost $2 million staked on Anchor.
Yeah.
On this platform. And that was the problem. Like the whole system relied on the stability of UST.
Right.
That algorithmic stablecoin pegged to the US dollar.
Yeah.
And when UST started to lose its peg, it just set off this chain reaction.
Like a domino effect.
Yeah, exactly. And ultimately led to the collapse of Luna and UST.
It's wild. And it all happened while the interviewer was on a flight to LA.
Oh, no.
He was actually watching UST drop to like $0.59.
Oh, my God.
While he was on a connecting flight in Japan.
That's brutal.
And he was like agonizing over whether to sell or not.
Oh, I bet.
It's such a classic dilemma, right?
Yeah, totally.
Do you cut your losses and run, or do you hold on hoping for a recovery?
Yeah, it's so hard to know what to do in those situations.
And in this case, he chose to hold.
Oh, no.
He thought it would repeg.
Right.
But by the time he landed, his $2 million was gone.
Oh my gosh, that's heartbreaking.
It's a really tough story to hear.
Yeah.
And it really highlights the importance of not only understanding the technology, but also the underlying mechanisms of any investment you make.
Yeah, you got to know what you're getting into.
Especially in DeFi.
Yeah.
Where the potential for high returns is often coupled with significant risk.
Totally. So it seems like there's a lot of hype and speculation swirling around in the crypto market. How do you, as someone who's new to this, cut through all the noise?
It's a great question, and one that Lark actually addresses head on.
Okay.
He really stresses the importance of looking beyond the hype and focusing on projects that have real utility and a strong team behind them.
Right. You got to look at the fundamentals.
Exactly. And he suggests taking a slow and steady approach.
Okay.
Thoroughly researching any project you're considering.
Right. Do your due diligence.
Yeah, and diversifying your portfolio.
Yeah, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. I think a lot of people come into crypto thinking they're going to get rich quick.
Oh, yeah.
But the reality is it's more like a marathon than a sprint. There's no need to rush in and chase the latest trends.
Yeah, it's a long game.
It is, and you have to be flexible and willing to adjust your strategy as the market changes.
Because it's always changing.
Always. Like surfing. You need to be able to ride the waves.
I love that analogy.
And adapt to the changing conditions.
So we've talked about the risks, the hype, the importance of due diligence.
Yeah.
But what about the exciting stuff?
Yeah, what's Lark excited about right now?
Like, what's kind of fired up?
What's he bullish on?
Well, he sees a lot of potential in these things called layer 1 blockchains.
Okay.
Specifically Solana and Base.
Okay.
Think of them like platforms that host other decentralized applications.
Okay, so it's like the infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly.
For other stuff to be built on top of.
Exactly. And he's particularly bullish on Aerodrome and Brett.
Okay.
2 projects that are built on Base.
Got it.
And Jupiter, which is a decentralized exchange aggregator on Solana.
So he's looking at both like the infrastructure and the applications.
Yeah, both sides of the coin.
And it's not just about DeFi either.
No.
He's still a believer in blockchain gaming.
Okay.
Even though that narrative has cooled off a bit recently.
Yeah, it's not as hot as it used to be.
Right. But he's particularly excited about a game called Off the Grid.
Off the Grid.
Which is a crypto-native game built on Avalanche.
Interesting.
And it's actually set to launch on major consoles like Xbox and PlayStation.
Wait, so this is a game that incorporates in-game tokens and NFTs.
Yeah.
But is also going mainstream.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, it could be huge for bridging the gap.
Right.
Between traditional gaming and the crypto world.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, because it could introduce a whole new audience to the concept of crypto.
Totally.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got platforms, DeFi gaming.
Yeah.
What's Lark's overall outlook for the crypto market?
Yeah. Is he still bullish or is he feeling more cautious these days?
He's definitely still bullish, but he's also realistic about the challenges ahead.
Okay.
He believes we're headed for another bull run.
Okay.
But he's aware of the macroeconomic headwinds.
Right.
That could put a damper on things.
Yeah, there's still those concerns about a potential recession.
Right.
And that's going to impact all markets.
Yeah, including crypto.
So how's that influencing Lark's own strategy?
Well, he's mentioned that he might be taking profits more aggressively this time around.
Okay.
Having learned from his past experiences.
Yeah, you live and you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
So even when you're feeling bullish,
right,
it's important to protect your gains.
Yeah, don't get greedy.
And don't get swept up in the euphoria.
Yeah, because the market can turn on a dime.
It can. It really can. So don't forget about risk management.
Right.
Take profits, diversify, and protect yourself from the inevitable downturn.
Yeah, because what goes up must come down.
Exactly. Lark even says crypto can be like a casino sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Full of buggy crap that goes to zero all the time.
That's a good way to put it.
So play smart, play safe, and never bet more than you can afford to lose.
That's good advice.
It is, and that brings us to Lark's Bitcoin price prediction.
Okay.
He sees potential for Bitcoin to reach $215,000.
Wow.
But he thinks $100,000 is a more realistic target for this cycle.
So there's potential for big gains.
Yeah.
But he's also tempering expectations.
Yeah, he's not promising the moon.
Right?
But he's not ruling it out either.
It all depends on how things play out.
Exactly. It sounds like he's taking a measured approach.
Yeah.
Balancing optimism with a healthy dose of caution.
A good approach.
But even with all the potential for gains,
yeah,
Lark and the interviewer don't shy away from like the darker side of crypto.
Right.
They talk about the hacks, the scams, and even the psychological toll that this market can take on people.
It can be really stressful.
It can. Lark actually uses the term slaughterhouse to describe what happened with meme coins.
Oh, wow.
Which paints a pretty vivid picture of how quickly fortunes can be made and lost.
Yeah, people got repped.
And it's not just meme coins. We've seen countless projects collapse.
Right.
Hacks drain millions of dollars. Rug pulls leave investors empty-handed.
It's a wild west out there.
It can be. It really can. So it's a reminder that this space is incredibly risky.
Yeah.
And it's not for the faint of heart.
So that brings us back to Lark's point about due diligence.
Yeah.
Research the team, the technology, understand the tokenomics.
Yeah.
And don't just blindly follow the hype.
Don't FOMO into something you don't understand.
Exactly.
He also talks about the emotional roller coaster of crypto.
Oh, yeah.
It's a 247 market
that
can easily consume your thoughts and your emotions.
Especially if you're overexposed or overleveraged.
Yeah, it's easy to get caught up in the FOMO.
Yeah.
Fear of missing out.
Totally.
And make impulsive decisions that you later regret.
It happens to the best of us.
It does. So Lark really stresses the importance of taking care of your mental health.
Right.
And having a life outside of crypto.
Yeah. It's good to have balance.
It is. It's a good reminder that even though this technology is exciting and potentially transformative, it's important to maintain perspective.
Don't let it consume you.
Exactly. And then there's this idea that Lark brings up about crypto being like a player versus player game.
Oh, interesting.
Which is kind of a thought-provoking concept because it challenges this idea of community that's often promoted in the crypto space.
Yeah, everyone's in it together.
Yeah, but while there are definitely supportive communities out there, at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own decisions.
Yeah.
And your own financial well-being.
You can't just blindly follow the crowd.
You can't, and don't get caught up in that hodl together, get rich together mentality.
Right.
Because as Lark's story shows,
it
doesn't always work out that way.
And speaking of hodling,
both
Lark and the interviewer touch on this question
of
taking profits versus holding for the long term.
It's a constant debate in the crypto community.
It is. It's like the age-old question.
Yeah. And they both acknowledge the importance of taking profits.
Right.
Especially in such a volatile market.
You got to lock in those gains.
But they also recognize that some of the biggest winners in crypto are those who identified the truly transformative projects early on.
Right.
And held on for years.
Yeah, like the Bitcoin OGs.
Exactly. So it's about finding that balance between protecting your gains and not missing out on potential exponential growth.
It's a tough balance.
It is. And there's no one-size-fits-all answer.
Yeah, it depends on your individual circumstances.
Right. It comes down to your own research, your conviction, your understanding of the market.
And your risk tolerance.
And your risk tolerance, exactly. Some people are comfortable riding out the volatility.
Right.
While others prefer to take a more cautious approach.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer.
As long as you're making informed decisions that align with your goals.
Totally.
Yeah. It really is a journey, isn't it?
It is. It's a process.
And even experts make mistakes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But what matters is that we learn from them.
Right. And adapt.
Right.
And keep moving forward.
Exactly. So if we were to kind of sum all of this up, like what are some key takeaways?
Yeah, what are the most important things to remember?
Yeah, if you're thinking about getting into crypto.
Yeah. I think the first thing is just to approach it with caution. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Right. It's not a magic money tree.
No, it's a complex market.
Yeah.
It's volatile.
Yeah.
It requires, careful consideration and due diligence.
Totally. Don't let the hype.
Yeah.
And the promise of easy money cloud your judgment.
Right. It's easy to get swept up in that.
It is. So do your research, understand the risks.
Yeah.
And never invest more than you can afford to lose.
That's rule number one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would also say that education is key.
Oh, for sure.
Take the time to learn about the technology, the different types of cryptocurrencies, the different investment strategies.
Right, like knowledge is power in this space.
Yeah, absolutely. The more you understand, the better decisions you'll make.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to start small.
Right.
You don't have to go all in right away.
Dip your toes in the water.
Right.
Experiment.
And see what works for you.
Exactly. Find your own comfort level.
Right.
Develop a strategy that aligns with your goals and your risk tolerance.
Yeah, that's key.
And remember, even though there are risks, there's also a lot of potential.
Yeah, there's huge potential for growth and innovation.
Yeah, it's an exciting time to be involved in crypto.
It really is.
And it's only going to get more interesting from here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So embrace the adventure, stay informed.
Yeah.
And remember to have fun along the way.
I love that. Well said.
Thanks.
That's a perfect note to end on.
Yeah.
So until next time, happy diving, everyone.